After 15 years of gaming, I finally quit, and this is what happened to my life. So, when I was a kid, my dad bought me my first computer when I was probably around like 5 years old. He built it for me, and I've been playing video games since I was that age, playing just fun games, and then over time I developed an addiction towards competitive games like CS:GO, Valorant, Fortnite, all these games. And basically, this whole time I've been playing video games like 12 hours a day, no breaks. I basically had no social life in like high school, elementary school. It got really bad in high school. I was just After school I would just play till like 2 a.m. every day. I'd be sleep deprived at school, and I cared so much about like my rank in these games, and I wanted to be a pro, and I was just trying to get as good as I could at these games. A couple of years ago, like 4 years ago, that's when I first started lifting, and I was still playing video games at the time. I was 18 years old, and I was still playing Valorant. I was like the top rank in the game. I was really good at the game because I was playing like all day, every day, and I had already been playing for like 15 years before then. So basically, the way I was able to switch from gaming every day to starting to go to the gym was a gradual decrease in the gaming and a gradual increase in how much I was going to the gym. And it was almost like I had to switch my identity from being a gamer to being a gym bro. And I basically did that by consuming a shit ton of content nonstop, reading about it, watching influencers, just absorbing myself into that reality to where all I would think about is the gym, and it was just who I was as a person. It wasn't just something I did, it was like I am someone who goes to the gym. And I think that's really important. You have to switch that identity, or else you're just going to keep going back to that old identity that you had before, which for me was just I just played games all day and I did nothing with my life. So the reason I was playing games this whole time was I was escaping reality. I had not a very good social life. I wasn't confident at all in myself, how I looked, how I felt, my social skills. I had a shit ton of anxiety. I couldn't talk to new people, make friends easily. At school, I would just always be overthinking everything, thinking people were looking at me, thinking I'm weird, whatever it was. And this was all just caused by a lack of self-confidence and a lack of effort that I was putting into my everyday life to improve as a person in real life. All of my effort that I could have been spending in real life, I was spending in the game to try to get better and become a pro. And it's not easy being a pro at these games. I spent like tons and tons and tons of hours trying to improve, and I still wasn't a pro because there is some level of talent you need. And even though I tried my best, I wasn't able to get to that point. But one thing that gaming taught me was that I had a lot of potential in life. And the way it taught me this is because I got really good at these games, and I naturally wasn't that good at them. It was literally just the accumulation of time and energy I put into improving into the game, watching videos, learning how to improve, practicing for hours on end, trying to get better, and comparing myself to other people, training with people, learning from other people. And like, this was something that not everyone that plays games was doing, and it put me ahead of a lot. And that's why I got so good early on. None of my friends I knew were as good as me. And again, this is all just effort I was putting into the game instead of putting effort into improving myself in real life. So I saw how much potential I had. I was like probably the top 0.1% in these games, in North America at least. And that's really impressive. But when you would see me in real life, I was just a below average looking, below average everything basically person. No social skills, no muscle mass, like just not a great overall character, right? And I just know for a fact that if I would have put all that energy into my life, like social life, my fitness, my health, and everything else in life that you can improve, I would be so much farther ahead. But I was spending all that time online instead of in real life. It all started when I began to redirect my ambition and my goals towards things that I wanted to achieve in real life instead. This really started happening after I got out of high school, and it's specifically my first or second year of university, where I really was like, okay, what am I doing with my life? And I saw other people doing really cool stuff with their life. I was like, okay, I'm almost 20 years old now. What do I want to do in my free time other than just play games all the time? Like, I can't just play games for the rest of my life. I need to make a living. I need to start getting some confidence. Like, I didn't know how to do this stuff. I was very lost, and I turned to the internet to try to figure out what I could do. And one of the first things people tell you to do is just to get in shape, solve the fitness problem, right? I was skinny fat at the beginning. I had nothing going for me physically, no muscle mass. I was probably 150 pounds at 5'9", but I had no muscle mass. So it was just 150 pounds with fat. Like I was just skinny fat, right? The reason I was able to switch was because as I went down in time spent on playing video games, I had all this free time that I didn't know what to do with. And because I was starting to get interested in fitness and realizing that you could change your body a lot, I started transferring that time I was spending on the game into going into the gym. Or at first I was just working out at home, but just focusing on improving my body. I didn't know what else to improve on at the time, so that's the only thing I could put my energy into to improve. And it was such an important transition for me because even though I was still playing a lot of video games, I also saw that I was building something in real life, that like it was going somewhere. It wasn't just wasted energy. I was actually making progress and building a little bit of confidence and seeing that I can actually change instead of having a fixed mindset and thinking that everything was just genetics. So again, like as I kept going, I realized, okay, I have all this potential, I'm making progress. What if I was able to just completely cut out video games for good? I would have even more time to just do a bunch of stuff in real life and to really improve. The first time I like was able to finally stop for a while, I set the goal for myself and I uninstalled all the games on my computer. So basically, even though I wanted to play the games like really bad, like I was addicted, right? I decided to uninstall them. So anytime I would have to get back on the game, or I would want to, I would have to reinstall it. And it was this added friction to the process to where if I sat down on my computer and I wanted to play, I'd have to install it. It would take like an hour or two. And sometimes I wasn't willing to wait for that. So I would just end up doing something else more productive. This was a really positive thing in my life because I was so used to just sitting down in my room, going to my desk and playing games, that this kind of like interrupted that automatic, okay, I'm home now, I could just go play. Like there was something in between me and my addiction, and it really made it easier for me to stop playing as much. And at the same time, with all this free time that I was getting from not playing games, I could really think about what I wanted in my life and what I wanted to achieve. So I really started planning for myself how I was going to achieve my dream body, and I started doing it. I started working out like all the time. I was super obsessed with the gym, making progress, and everyone started knowing me as the guy that was going to the gym all the time. I would just, any friends I would talk to, that's all they would bring up. Still to this day, if you're in shape, people just bring up that you go to the gym all the time. Like you could just be having a normal conversation and they just say like, oh, so how's the gym going? Like they don't even have to know. They just look at you and they know. But again, this was my whole personality. I was probably annoying as fuck at the beginning because that's all I was talking about and thinking about. But it was such a positive change for me because before, all I could talk about was games, and no one wants to talk about video games if they're not playing and they're not good at them like you are. This was just a really big turning point in my life, and the changes that happened when this took place was immense. So I started being able to go out to the gym, feel less anxiety. At first, when I went to the gym, I had tons of anxiety. I thought I didn't want to be seen by people trying to improve myself. I thought it was kind of embarrassing, but the more I went, the more I got used to it. And that's the thing with anxiety. The only way to beat anxiety is just exposure therapy. So you slowly go more often, and you get more comfortable to the feeling, and at some point you just forget about it. Like it's not even there anymore. And now I get excited to go to the gym because I get to see my friends and stuff. And that's another point, is that I was able to start getting out of my comfort zone because I was such a socially anxious person before. When I started going to the gym, there was even people that started coming up to me because I was really focused on my goals. They were asking me, oh, wow, you're pretty strong. Like, what are you doing? And it was just these small interactions that started making me more comfortable with people. You have no idea how uncomfortable I was in social situations before. I would overthink every word I was saying. After the interaction, I would overthink what I said, and they probably think I'm weird. And all this really like stupid stuff I would think to myself. And it was just not beneficial to my mindset at all. But again, once you get used to it, you literally just have to force yourself to like jump in the fire and have some social interactions, and you end up being way less socially anxious. And you realize that social interaction does not have to be perfect either. Like I'm still awkward as fuck sometimes. People are awkward with me too. I noticed that I'm not the only one like that. So that was a huge revelation for me. I thought I was like the black sheep. I thought I was the only one who was socially anxious and socially awkward. But there's tons of people out there that are like that. And now I'm at a point where I'm I'm way less socially anxious than most people. So now I can help other people the way I helped myself, right? This was just another huge thing. My life improved by looking better, feeling better. I improved my diet, so I just had way more energy. I could think clearly. I knew I was healthier. I was starting to talk to people, make friends. My social life improved, which really helps your mental health if you're struggling and you were like me. If you're an introvert and all you do is play video games, if you start forcing yourself to like have a little bit of social interaction, make some friends and hang out with them, you're really gonna feel a lot better mentally, because sitting in your room all day doing nothing, even if you're talking to friends on Discord, it's not the same. You don't get that serotonin from talking to someone, having interaction, just sharing your everyday struggle or whatever it might be. That's like super important as a human. You need that interaction. And it makes you feel heard, and it makes you feel not alone in life, and there's other people going through the same things as you. These are really the foundation that built my confidence. I literally went from someone who was the least self-confident person ever. Like, I could not believe how, like, I was so depressed. I didn't want to get out of bed. My mom was worried about me. I didn't want to talk to anyone. Friends didn't want to talk to me because of how negative I was all the time. I was always complaining about everything. I had no personality because that's all I did. I didn't have anything else in my life that I was doing at the time. This is really what built my confidence in real life. And it was all from taking all this effort I was putting into the game, taking it out of the game and putting it into my real life improvement. And it's not like I was a failure in real life. It was that I wasn't paying it enough attention. I wasn't putting in effort to actually focus on my real life. And this is why I say that a lot of people that are gamers, like I was, especially if you obsess over progression and getting better, ranking up, whatever the game you're playing, you have so much potential in real life if you just direct that into an area of your life that actually has benefit to you, and that's actually going to have some positive things that come out of it, right? I can't express this enough that it just completely changed my life. I'm the type of person that has goals in life. I'm very ambitious, and I was ambitious when I was playing video games, but it was just taking up all my time and energy. And that addiction sucked the life out of me. I had no time or I couldn't even think about like the goals I had in life because I was just focused on these fake goals online. So if you could just take away that vice, take away all that, these games just suck the life out of you. Like, that's the best way I can describe it. And by the way, guys, if you really need help quitting your gaming addiction, I made you guys a gamer quitting guide. It's the first link in the description, and it's really going to help you guys, guide you step by step how to quit your gaming addiction, because I was in the same position, and I would have loved to have a guide like this that could help me along the way. And it really helps to know you're not the only one going through this. So it's really going to help you guys out. So all in all, quitting video games was something that at first I really didn't enjoy doing. It was basically super boring. I stopped playing games, so I didn't know what to do with myself. I had to basically force myself to stay bored, and in that boredom, I found out how to be productive in life. Boredom can actually be a really good thing because it causes you to think about what you actually should be doing instead of your addiction. So I would just sit there and be like, okay, what the hell do I do? I'm so bored. I honestly might as well just do something productive. So I would just end up learning about the gym, going to the gym. For me, that was the main focus. But what you can have whatever other productive goal in your life, building a project, something like just adding value to either yourself or other people. That's like the main thing. Even if it's just spending time with your family, like anything is better than just wasting your life away playing video games. The older I got, the more I realized that's what it was. It was just a waste of time. Nowadays, I can't even hop on a game without feeling so much guilt and shame for doing it, because first of all, I haven't played a game in like 2 years now. But if, let's say, one of my friends wanted to hop on for like a day, the whole time I'd be thinking about how much of a waste of time it is and how I could be doing other things that would benefit me in the future. So if you still play video games, you should really focus on stopping, whether it's cold turkey or gradually, because it's just going to give you so much more time and energy to focus on things that are productive in your life. And if you are ambitious and have a lot of goals, it's really going to be necessary for you to spend all your energy on those things instead of just a fake goal online. And like I said before, I think I would be way further than I am now if I never got addicted to video games. Although they did show me how much potential I had, I probably could have done something productive and seen the potential in something like that anyways. So I definitely missed out on a lot of my social experiences when I was younger. I used to say no to spending time with friends, even spending time with family. I would sometimes skip out on it. And it was literally just because of my addiction. And it was so crippling. I couldn't understand why I couldn't stop. And it was literally because I needed that sense of progression in my life. And that's why you need to figure out why you're playing these games. For me, it was an escape from reality because I wasn't accomplishing anything in my life. And it was because I started so young that all I knew was progression in the game, and just I had kind of a sense of status. I felt good about myself in these games. And compared to real life, I had no status. I didn't really have that many friends. I wasn't accomplishing anything, right? So that's why I kind of drifted towards the online life compared to the real life. I hope you guys that are still playing video games can get some value out of this and realize that I was in your shoes before. I was a really bad case. I was trying to go pro in these games. I would play like 12 hours a day. I never thought I would quit. My parents would have like restrictions on me. My dad would yell at me all the time, and I really felt like a disappointment at the time. I wasn't doing anything with my life, and I couldn't stop. It was so addicting to me because I'm a very competitive person, and I was already good at these games. I wanted to be the best, but it's a dead end. Like, unless you're literally becoming a professional player, which is like super, super difficult, and most people can't achieve that, you get so much more out of life if you just focus on other goals. And I think the first step for most of you guys is just getting in shape, getting in the gym, and that's going to pay the most dividends for the future. So get in the gym and make sure you're focusing on delayed gratification instead of instant gratification. Yeah, I hope this video helps.